Hey everyone, welcome to another tutorial of Friends of Motion. And today I'm going to show you how I made these motion posters by using a free browser-based software called Modyfi. And you can find it at modyfi.com, modyfi.com. I'm starting to incorporate this into my day-to-day ideation. And it's almost like After Effects and Photoshop had a baby, and Modyfi is the baby. It's just so easy to quickly make a animation, to audition an idea, to show to a client. I just think it's super useful, and I'm hoping it's going to help you too. At the end, I'm also going to show a little bit about the AI capabilities of this platform, because I think it's very powerful and it's almost what this platform is about. But I feel like that needs this tutorial all by itself, so I will do that if you're interested. For now, let's log into Modyfi and then I'll see you in the tutorial. Okay, so when you log in for the first time, you'll probably see nothing in this recent section, but you will have a few things at the top. It's mostly templates and tutorials and walkthroughs just to give you a good springboard to start a project. So I've already have one project here. I'm going to create a new project. And again, as I said, this is so wonderful that you don't need to install any fonts or plugins or applications. This is all done in your browser. So you're just going to click on New Project. Let me just close things so we have a nice clean project. I'm going to name my project, so let's call this poster 100. On the left is where your layers will appear. So this is like in Photoshop, all your layers where it's usually on the right, it will be on the left. And anything you click on, the attributes of that specific item will appear on the right. So for example, right now I'm clicking on the canvas. The canvas is 1024 by 1024. So that is the attributes of this canvas, and the canvas has a transparent background, and if you want a color, you can just click on the transparent icon and change the color. So I'm going to make this, say gray. And then there's also these nice presets, and I just want something that's like an Instagram portrait. So I'm going to click on Instagram portrait. Oh, I realized the color changed. So let me just go back and get the color. Make it a nice gray color. All right. So this specific poster is going to be an imaginary band poster. For example, I'm imagining a friend comes to you and they want you to helping with some social media elements for their band. So I'm just going to start with some simple text by going down to this bottom toolbar. And I think if you know any other design tools, this is probably very straightforward. I'm going to create a T for text. I'm going to just type in just some placeholder text for now, this summer. And a great thing is they have all the Google fonts you can dream of. So I get sometimes a little bit overwhelmed with all the options and all the choices. So I just sometimes just randomly press a character and just scroll down S, for example, and just make, give myself some guardrails just to pick a font. So I already know I'm going to pick this one called Sign. That's a pretty nice font. And I'm going to make it bold. And we'll just do a quick layout. So I won't bore you to this. I will fast forward this a little bit so that you don't need to watch me designing the fonts and the copy. It will just be placeholder copy, but just so we have something to work with. So okay, so I've done some quick design and now I'm going to add an image. And I love that you can just use the built-in stock image library that is part of Modyfi, and they are using Unsplash. And you're probably familiar with Unsplash. And it's so great that it's actually in the software. So you can just search for anything you want to search, click on it, and then just bring it into the canvas. So this is a great way of creating a tone and a vibe for a specific brand or poster. So I know for my poster, I wanted to create this kind of modernist cinematic poster with red lights. So I'm just going to search for the red lights. And I already know which images I'm going to pick, but you will see this is a great library and they're all free. So I'm just going to grab a few that I've already selected before. It's this girl, this guy, and let's get this one girl. I like the background. This girl. And then you'll see this at the bottom. It says add to canvas, and you just add to canvas. All right, so I'm going to select them all, right click, group. And then also just name them stock because you might want to replace them at some point. And then I'm going to start with this girl. Switch off the others by just closing down this eye icon. Let's scale her up. And I'm going to start with this amazing little button. I call it the amazing little button, but it's just a split to layers button. And if I click on it, it is going to separate the background from the foreground. And I kind of see it as like just a magic button. I know that you get it in Photoshop as well, but I almost feel like this is, I don't want to say it's better, but I think it's doing a pretty good job for a software that is absolutely free. So see how amazing this is. It just cuts out the lady from the background and it fills what was behind her. And if you, let's zoom into this, I'm just going to press Z and click. You'll see her hair. I mean, I think it's pretty sweet. Like, look at this little tiny hair strand here. It's pretty detailed in the back here. I think it's a pretty good job. So this is great. I also want to make the background just a little more transparent. So I'm going to click on the background and I'm going to turn the opacity a little down like that. No, sorry, I need to click on the background and turn the opacity down a little bit. Now you can start seeing the text coming through. And I'm just going to call this foreground girl because I want to make sure I know which foreground it is. And I'm just going to move her up on my stock list. So we have the girl, the background, and now we are going to move the text to the top because I want to see the text, and that's pretty good. All right, so that's kind of my base. Actually, one thing I want to do is I want to see this, you see this toolbars at the bottom? I just want to create a little bit of a soft light behind her. So I'm going to click on the shape icon and select this soft rectangle. I'm going to create a square, and then on the right here you'll see I can make a round circle. I'm going to make it a little soft, and I'm going to make it like a purple color close to what that font is. And then I'm going to add that just underneath her. So you'll see that it's like this nice, almost like a rim light, directional light just behind her. And that's pretty cool. All right, so now we're almost ready to have a lot of fun. Let me do one more thing. So I don't like this background that's outside of the canvas. So I'm just going to group the whole lot, shift select, right click, group, and then use this bottom, you see this little running ants rectangular selection tool. Just make I'm just doing it roughly, it's not perfect, but I'm going to make a square, and then in the group section, I'm just going to right click and say apply mask. And that's a mask. If you click on the little tiny icon of the mask, the masks are a little complicated, but it's wonderful because they're actually still live. So basically you can tweak the mask and it is procedural. So it's not like in Photoshop where your mask, once you make your mask, it's kind of solid, I guess. So I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like a rasterized bitmap. Here your mask is live, and you can even, if I want to add a shape, say I want to add what I want to add, star, add it. Oh, the star has an outline. So if I want to add a star, so just make it white. See how it adds the mask. I really need to make a tutorial just for that, but I just want to quickly mention it, but I don't want to confuse you. So let's just delete it and pretend I did not talk about the mask yet. Anyways, just to make it clean, but this is our basic girl. So now let's have some fun. And I have to say, if I have to give one word description of this software, the word is fun, because it's really so easy. So it's this little icon here, and it's all about the modifiers. And that's why this software is called Modifier. It's like a filter or a manipulator that you put on top of an image. And you don't need to just put it on top of an image. You can put it anywhere you want, but it is like filters. So, and what I like about it, these thumbnails, it will immediately, as you hover over the thumbnail, it will give you a glimpse of what you're about to do with the image. So it's almost like auditioning before you commit. And I love that. So I'm going to quickly go through this, because even if you have an idea already and you start just hovering over this, I promise you're going to start having other ideas as you go. So that's what I love about it. That's why I say it's fun, because there's so many things just coming up if I start hovering over, because I'm already thinking, oh wait, this could be another look. So you can immediately make 5 looks and present it to a client. So some are just things we all know, but you know, it's just, I feel like it's just so much easier than a thing that pops up and you have to tweak and then close and save. It's just immediate satisfaction. All right, so let's just go over these so you can kind of get a glimpse of what we can do. Repetition is pretty cool. This slice shift is one of my favorites. Stretch is one of my favorites. Tile shift. Oh, this section here is really cool. All right, so I'm gonna start with pattern refraction. This one here. Double click. Oopsie, I double clicked too many times. So now, all right, maybe that's a good example to show you that you can actually stack them. So for example, now I have 3 pattern refractions. I know it's a little crazy on top of each other, but look at that. It's like almost like a new idea, just accidentally, you know, like a little bit of a happy mistake. And who doesn't like happy mistakes? So yeah, so look at that, very cool. And all these can be animated very easily. And I'm going to show you that too. So let me just not make it too complicated. I'm going to keep it straight. This pattern refraction, so hard to say this word, is there are so many shapes. So you can have a zigzag, you can have waves, you can have circular. The circular one is really cool. You can she can look like she's a fly with lots of eyes. And the way the amount goes negative, so she's upside down, and positive, so she's just super tiny. Let me zoom in. So this is super trippy, like super cool. And you can make it frosty, not so frosty. The dispersion is actually also creates a very interesting effect. Let me show you. It has this kind of RGB split, like chromatic aberration, but it also bends the lens even more. So this is very trippy. And let's see, seamless makes it a little more wobbly. Distortion. This is really cool. So you can imagine, you can make a whole campaign with this little thing. And all of this can be animated, which is now the next thing I'm going to show you. So how should we do this? Let's see. If I want her to move. All right, I want this movement, and that's going to be the animation. And we can actually just move the text. It's kind of cool that the text gets distorted, but I think it needs to be legible, obviously. How are people going to know about this amazing band? All right, so I want her to come in from the left. So I'm going to switch off this pattern refraction just for a second. And also she's a little low. Let's move her up and scale her a little up. So I want her to come in from the side like and then stop, just for now. Or we can make a loop like in out. This, I have to say, this animation tool is very simple. Don't expect keyframes and stuff. It's really just loops and elegant eases and ease out. But I feel most people, that's kind of what you need. I don't think you need to be making it complicated, right? So to make her move, we're going to need a transform modifier. So that's basically just moving up and down. And I'm going to just click here at the top and search for transform. Add transform modifiers. It's up here. And you'll see when you click on it, you'll see on the right here the attributes. As soon as you hover over something, if there's a little orange thing, you can animate it. And I am going to just click on translation, and you'll see you'll get this oscillator. And nothing will happen because you need to tell the oscillator what needs to animate. And I want to animate the X position of this lady. So I'm going to start just dragging her to the right, and see we have this nice oscillation, but it's too fast for me. So let's make it 1, just because you want this whole oscillation to happen in 10 seconds. And speaking of 10 seconds, 10 seconds is what the timeline is in default. So that's here at the bottom. And this orange bar is your oscillation. So if I change it to say 5 seconds, it will just automatically loop at 5 seconds, which is wonderful. You don't need to come and drag anything. It just does it for you automatically. But I like 10 seconds because I feel that gives you enough time to do whatever you need to do. So the oscillation is nice because you have all kinds of speed ramps, and it could be super erratic or just linear. You know, just play around with these. These are pretty awesome. You can also do random. But I actually do I want random? No, I just wanted to oscillate. I actually thought I wanted to ease. So I want her to come in and stop. But I want her, and as you can see, if I do an ease, the default is 1 second. So she's going to come in and stop. So I want her to come in a long time. I want to drag this timeline all the way to 10 seconds, and then she stops. You see how she's coming in? Super slow. And then she's going to slowly stop. And you can play around with all these kind of how slow she's going to come in or how slow she's going to stop. You know, it's kind of, well, you know, you can really, lots of things to play with. I actually just gonna do like a quad. All right. And it's basically just to show you the effect, because now if I switch on, and just remember, this is all in the browser. I am not pre-rendering this. It's just doing it as I'm playing. I'm going to switch on the pattern refraction. So look at that. All live. You can audition all kinds of movements while she's moving, because now I can go to the pattern refraction and see, well, what will zigzag look like? Let me zoom in so you can see. So basically you can now play around. So you can figure out what will zigzag look like? What will waves look like? Let's wait for it to come around. Ooh, very cool. Circular, you know, you can, it's so much fun, right? Ooh, I like this one. It's like she's coming out of the bathroom. A very Blade Runner bathroom. All right, so I'm gonna keep it on circular because that's trippy. And for me, this is sort of look number one. So I'm going to show my client or friend 3 looks. So I'm going to show you how to do 3 looks, and easy peasy, just click of a button. So I'm going to call, one little thing I do usually, I add a noise on top, just because I don't want it to look so CG. I want it to feel more, you know, handmade, not handmade, but you know, analog. So I'm going to put the noise on overlay, and then I'm just going to dial the opacity down. You can also dial the strength. I honestly don't know the difference. I feel like it's the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it's not. See, now it almost looks like those kind of futuristic, retro futurism type books or movies, or, you know, I just love it. Let's go closer, make it even trippier. Ooh, she comes. She's an alien. She's a robot. All right, so that is our first look, number 1. And if you want to render this out, actually one thing I have to quickly say, see how you can see the transparency here in this little gaps? And that's because this where is that pattern refraction? It's actually refracting the whole scene. So you need to group it. Anything you put in a group is going to be affected by the modifier. So the modifier can't affect anything outside a group, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna create this selection tool again, make a square, right click, and say apply mask. So now you have a nice, clean, see that transparency is gone. Love that. Okay, so, let me also quickly show you how to export it. Basically, you are just going to click on this export button here at the top, and then you'll have an option, either image, that's a still, PNG, JPEG, or GIF, or a video that is the WebM or a MP4. I'm just going to do MP4. And then if you press export, you'll see here at the bottom, you will see the status of how far you are with the download or with the rendering. So it's going to go all the way to 10 seconds. And when it's done, it will confirm that it's done. And it's as easy as that. Next, I'm going to go. So this poster is called 011, 100. And now I'm going back to my dashboard. And you'll see that sometimes the thumbnail doesn't kind of update. So you just have to wait. Eventually it will update. All right, so now you're going to duplicate. I'm going to call this double click, or I think, I'm going to call this poster 2, because obviously we want to show our client different ideas. And so she's still moving. Well, let me play. All right, so she's still moving, and we are going to switch off the pattern refraction. And let's try something else. Let's try this dithering is really cool. Dither. There's a halftone pattern. It's also very cool, but I am going to show you the tile shift. Okay, double click. And oops, I have it in the, it's in the right spot. Okay, so another cool little effect. So tile shift has a few shapes, so hexagon, square, triangle, brick, and see how it updates as I'm just shuffling through them. I'm going to create the tile. Let me see if I can scale it down a little. And the shift I'm going to scale down. So the shift can go into negative or into positive, so it just goes smaller as you go. And just play around with these little things. Rotation, I actually don't want a rotation, so let's put it on 0. And then I'm going to put it on the brick. What I like about the brick is it has this offset. So it's like a tile, but it's like obviously a brick tile. But what I like about it is you can animate now the shift. So I'm going to do the shift. So it has this nice, almost like a mesmerizing mosaic effect. So let's try it. I'm just really just playing around with the size and the offset, and just there's no right or wrong. They're all great, cool things. I get kind of FOMO just because I'm worried that I'm going to miss out on a cool effect. So yes, it's just really silly of me. And also the cool thing is now you can just say your client emails you and say, hey, I don't like that image. Let's switch out for something else. So now you can just go grab, where's that other woman? Or grab her, put her under, remember that it has to be in a group to be influenced by the movement. Where is she? I need to move her under here. Girl 2. Let's call her girl 2. All right, so girl 2, let's switch her on, her off. I know it looks a bit confusing, but it's literally, I just need to add her into this neon light group. And she's animated. So it's great because I don't need to animate her separately. I can just drag her and put her under this group, and then she's animated too. And actually she is not, I haven't removed her background yet. So I'm just gonna, let's see if it can be done. I'm just gonna remove the background as she's animating. And remember, her hair is very hard to detect where the edges are because she's sort of in the darkness. So let me, there we go. Look at that, that's nice, right? Let me just switch off this pattern refraction, the tile shift. Look how nice that is. You can see the detailing is, it was very hard to see the edge of her face, and the AI kind of just figured it out. All right, so let's use this girl. And now I'm going to use that stretch modifier that I also love. Let's go down, find it. Stretch modifier. Okay, and I'm gonna add the stretch here near I just wanted to influence the ladies. All right, so this stretch is pretty cool. It it's taking the pixel and just move it to the right or to the left, depending on the rotation of this section. But what I like about it, it also has an offset. So say you want a specific place to start, so you can move the offset here. So for example, I want it to happen. Let me switch the transform off just for a little second. So for example, I want it to start like she's crying, for example. It's just, this is a silly example. I want it right under her eye. So if I go, then if I animate this, it's gonna look like the pixels are stretching under her eye. There's also this nice thing about the smoothing that you can make it a little more droopy, but you can also, and I'm just gonna quickly show you, duplicate it. And then this guy can go like a little skew and you can make a smooth. So it's more like a smear. See the smear? It's so mesmerizing to do this. Ooh. All right, so let's see if I now, okay, now I'm gonna be crazy and I'm just gonna switch on all the other things that I have switched on. So we can also animate this smear. So do we wanna do that? Or stretch? Yeah, let's do it, let's do it. Let's see, distance, I'm gonna animate, you can switch this off here. The animate, I wanna animate the distance and I want to start dragging this. Let's just do quick one. Just want one motion. And this is way too far, so let's make it 300. I mean, it's cool. I feel like I have to really tweak it a lot, but you get the idea. I don't want it to look funny. I just want it to look interesting. So I think it's like a fine line of so she doesn't look like a cartoon character, but it more looks like she's just scanned through a scanner, or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the rationale would be. It's just fun. Anyways, I had so much fun. I'm hoping that you guys gonna have fun with this too, because this is a free product and this is just scratching the surface. They have, oh man, I don't even want to open this kind of, I don't even want to open this little tab, because this is image generated from layers. So basically the AI using this image to generate AI generated images. And oh, maybe I should quickly do this. I know it's going to take so much time from this tutorial, but it's fun. Let me quickly do it. So I'm going to switch off, where is that? Let's switch off these stretches and stuff. Switch off the transformations. Why? Oh, there's another stretch I didn't see. All right, so quickly, I'm gonna make a whole tutorial of this if you want to, but just in case you guys don't like this tutorial, I'm just gonna make this quickly. So I'm going to add an image guided generation. This means it's going to take it's going to use stable diffusion and use everything in this image as inspiration to create another image. That's basically what it is. So I am going to go in here and just say woman, red light, poster, cinematic. All right, usually you need to really craft these, but just for now, I haven't prepared a proper prompt. And the negative prompt is things you don't want, but since it's just a quick test, I don't want to create it yet. I wanted to send it up first. Anyway, so it's going to create now something, but let me just, all right, that is not going to look good. I'm going to keep this running and then I'm going to duplicate this. And while this is running, I'm going to switch that off. I'm just going to create another one just because I wanted to show you here. Here is all kinds of presets you can use, which is wonderful. So I'm going to use this graphic one because this for me feels very graphic. Well, let's see what happens when we use that. I'm going to say use the contours and color. So it's basically going to use all these outlines as inspiration. And usually you can dial these up and down, but then that's when you're going to have to start paying money. So first just play around before you dive too deep into the steps because it costs credits. Yeah, so many things you can tweedle here, but I would say it's so much fun. Like all these 3D ones are really fun. I just don't know. I'm wondering what would 3D look like. I'm just gonna stick with graphic for now, just because I don't want this tutorial to go too far. All right, so let's go generate. And while you wait for this, you can now go look at this guy and see, oh, ooh. Let me switch that on, switch this off. Oh my goodness, this is like so retro. It's really a vibe, right? So see how it used my font, it used this glowy thing, but now you can even bring the font back up so that maybe you don't want that glowy font, or maybe you do. But see how they completely, the stable diffusion little robots, completely changed her face. It's funny to me. All right, so let's see what the other guy is doing. It's still thinking, so I'm gonna pause and I'll come back. All right, I'm back, and this one is, I want to say it's super cool. It's like these weird eyes on her shoulder. Wow, okay, I actually think I created a complete new look here, and that's what I love about it. So I don't think I'll ever use AI straight out of the box. I feel like you need to kind of tweak a little and mask a little and bring back the human element by painting up yourself, but just something like that. That's already very nice. What did I do here? Yeah, I think that's almost like a movie poster of some weird futuristic film, like Black Mirror or something. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I think this software has so much potential. Here are some examples I've done with just using circles and then type, and then the way it exports in different styles, which is really cool. So I can maybe do a tutorial on that. But yeah, I would love to know what you think. Let me know. And until next time, thank you. Bye-bye.